help with functional neurological disorder with hypnosis.
Thank you.
John.
Thank you all very much. I will slow down because I don't speak Dutch, so therefore it's only English, and I speak it with an Irish accent, which might make it a little harder at times, so apologies in advance for that. Okay, so functional neurological disorder is something that I've been working with for a number of years now, and I started to work with it because a client came to me who had severe social anxiety, and her social anxiety was partially driven by non-epileptic seizures. She was having 5 to 6 non-epileptic seizures every single day. She had reached the stage where she would wear a lanyard when she went out that said, please don't call an ambulance, don't call the medic, I'm not an addict. And her son, who was with her, would have to explain to people that she was actually okay, that it would pass. Her very first session with me, she did explain to me what might happen. We did work out what a seizure would look like and how we would deal with it. And she did have one in that seizure, in that session. Medically, she was given no support. So medically what happens is that there is nothing wrong in the brain as per a scan. There is nothing wrong in the body as per a scan. However, the body and brain are not in sync, and it manifests in a number of different ways. In that, I think it was 3 sessions, all her seizures stopped. Every single one. It will occasionally flare up under severe trauma, severe stress in her life again, but the approach was to resolve the trauma for her. There's 2 different, I suppose, theories behind FND, and I'll deal with them as I go through. But one of the reasons that I work with it is because I do work with a lot of people who have deep emotional issues, whether you want to call it trauma or whatever. And I suppose I want to clarify something by saying that word trauma is how people perceive it. An event is a neutral thing. It's the meaning we give it that makes it significant. So when I realized that there was no support, the only supports really that were available and that are offered by the medical or other community is psychotherapy and physiotherapy. So psychotherapy to clear any emotional, and physiotherapy for the physical damage and trying to repair the body and let it heal itself over time. But as hypnotherapists, we understand that emotion is not logical, and that it's very difficult to talk your way into emotion. And for some, I work a lot with early childhood because I'm adoption as well, and there is no logical memory of many of the issues that early childhood trauma causes. Emotion's not logical. And because of that, hypnosis is far better equipped, far quicker to deal with the effects of whatever people perceive their trauma to be. Because ultimately, when we're dealing with people with FND, the body and the mind are storing a memory to keep them safe from reoccurring. And the nervous system has completely overloaded, and the body is reacting in a way that it's not supposed to, but it's not able to control it. So I'll go through what FND is and how I deal with it. And if anyone has any questions, or if I'm talking too fast, then please tell me. Oh, wrong way. There you go. Okay, so I've started on some of this already. So hypnosis, for me, is that pathway to reconnection, because we access the emotional brain through hypnosis. And when we're able to access the emotional brain, we're able to access the unconscious, we're able to access the parts of us that can allow us to reframe the trauma that has happened. And I've just said about that first client, in 3 sessions she has no seizures. They're completely stopped. Occasionally when she goes through a severe stressful time, she'll pick up the phone and ring me and say, I can feel a tremor. But that's it. And I mean, I have clients continuously now, whether it manifests in a number of different ways, and I'll go through these, but people who weren't able to drive because they're dizzy, people who have what medically is called absent seizures, where you might think there's nothing wrong with them, but they do not know what's going on in the room. They look perfectly okay, and anything could happen to them in that space. They would have no memory of what's just occurred in those 2 minutes, so they always need somebody with them. They have no life. And their seizures all stop as they begin to release. And in my experience, trauma has been behind the majority of it. So what is F&D? There's 2, I suppose, ways that I will look at this. It is a disruption in your brain-body communication. The brain is telling you one thing and the body is not doing it. But there is no structural brain damage and there's nothing wrong in the body. I tend to use the metaphor of the Wi-Fi signal is disrupted. It's just interrupted. The body is not picking up the signals because the nervous system is blocking it. It's interfering with the signal. So the brain might say, walk left, and the body won't respond. The brain might say, get up and go walking, the body won't respond. I've had clients who can't walk, they crawl around the house, but yet they can drive. And often when they get out of the car, they can walk for a little bit until they remember they can't walk, and then they stop. There's no logic to a lot of what happens. But yet, as they clear the trauma, most of this stuff starts to fade away. The other thing is what they call it is prediction error theory, which is that the brain says one thing and the body just hasn't caught up on time. That is one of the theories that's there. I personally think it's more that the nervous system is overloaded, and therefore as we clear the nervous system, the Wi-Fi signal, the prediction, whatever description you choose to give it, starts to reset, and the mind and body connect in the way that they're supposed to, the way that they always have been before anything happened to the person in the first place. So these are the kind of things that show up. Seizures, they're non-epileptic seizures. Movement problems, people can't walk. They often lose speech, hearing. Cognitive difficulties, just even like that person I just described who's had absent seizures also has memory issues. Balance and dizziness, speech and sensory changes. So it affects people. Now that's the physical effects. But I'm going to ask you to think about something. Think about the fact that you walked in here and you cannot walk out. Your body will not let you walk out of the room and will not let you walk anywhere anymore. How will that affect your mental state? Yeah. Panic.
Panic inside.
Yeah. So people with functional neurological disorder are also dealing with anxiety, depression, because they have lost control, they've lost their freedom. So that's the only thing that's medicated by the medical profession. It's the only thing they can medicate. As hypnotherapists, we know there's another way, so we can actually help on every level of functional neurological disorder. Okay? The risk factors for FND. There may be a neurological history in the family. There may be mental health issues in the family. Trauma, in my experience, has been the most significant one. And that is almost, if you like, to use a metaphor, because I use a lot of metaphors, but, you know, if their nervous system is like a pressure cooker, it's taking all these incidents in and eventually it's just bursting. It just can't take anymore. But as we start to clear these out, the nervous system starts to reset itself slowly. Because the first thing is always environment for change. And I'll come back to that in a moment. It's predominantly actually females that get it. Predominantly, it's about 60-40. But it would be more prone to female than male. So, moving on. Okay, so the current treatments for it, if you like, out by the medical profession are physiotherapy to repair the physical body, psychotherapy and medication. So the psychotherapy is for the emotional issues. It's logical, a logical approach to an emotional problem. And they medicate the conditions. Okay? Clients, and particularly in, say, countries like Ireland, and I think your health system might be better than ours at home, but clients often feel dismissed. Medics often don't know what to do. They've not heard of it. Yet, 20% of all neurological visits worldwide today are diagnosed under the heading of FND. So it's becoming more and more of a significant issue. And the psychotherapy, with the greatest respect to them, does not deal with the emotional coding issues that take place. It tries to logic its way through trauma. And it doesn't actually fully accept that trauma is what's actually written behind it. It doesn't accept that yet. It accepts that stress is a significant factor and that stress will cause the episodes to reoccur continuously. And there is evidence to support the trauma quite a lot, and I've experienced a huge amount of it in my own practice. That it's trauma conditions that cause traumatic events, but more importantly, people's reaction, the meaning that they've given it, and that pressure cooker of their life has got full, and the nervous system has said, can't take anymore, sorry. And then they come to us. So, like I said, 20% of neurological diagnosis coming out are FND now, but even medically there is a severe lack of understanding of it. A lot of medics in normal hospitals don't know what it is. If someone has a seizure, they'll assume it's epilepsy, whereas often it is non-epileptic with people who have FND. It just is a complete lack of awareness, even within the medical community, of what FND is. We have research. I think there was a study of about 1,600 hypnosis cases, and 87% showed clinical improvement. 75% had full or near recovery. That's pretty significant numbers by any standards. Okay, you'll find that research online. And I know there is research going into the other aspect of it, and maybe in time the brain scans will improve and they will start to show that there is something further at play that we do not know. But what we do know right now is that hypnotherapy is one of the best tools for people with FND, because it allows them to reframe. Okay? So why hypnotherapy? Well, based on what I've already said, it works with the emotional and the subconscious, unconscious systems. So it allows the mind to begin to reframe, and it speaks in the language of the unconscious mind. which is imagery, sensation, and emotion. So it speaks directly to that. We're the only ones who actually do that. And it helps to rewrite the faulty prediction loops that are happening, because the mind is saying one thing and the body is doing another. So whether the Wi-Fi signal is interrupted, whether the prediction error is taking place, it helps to rewrite that. And I'm going to show you how I utilize that. So my therapeutic approach is firstly the pre-talk. And obviously for any hypnotherapist, the pre-talk is key to a lot of what we do, because it sets the conditions. And if people are coming to me suffering from trauma or experiencing trauma, then safety is one of the things that they're going to need to feel the most. So therefore, that is the first set of conditions that needs to be applied, is a feeling of safety. And a lot of what I do is what I call content-free. Some of you will be familiar with content-free. Are all of you familiar with content-free hypnosis? Okay. So let me give you an example. Content-free is like letting your unconscious mind release something without you having to relive that moment. So very simply, it is the 10th of May 2025. Everything before today is over. Every single thing before you walked into this room is in the past. Your logical brain understands that. Your emotional brain does not. It keeps going back to those moments before today, and it replays them in loops. And if you're storing trauma, we are now starting to give the mind permission to go, oh, maybe I can think about this in a different way. Okay? How do you, anyone here deal with anxiety?
To work with or?
To work with, yeah. Okay, yeah. How do you know if someone is anxious? How will they know if they're anxious?
Physiology.
Pardon?
Physiology.
They'll feel it first, most times. Most times they'll feel it in their chest or in their stomach or in their gut or wherever. So, is it a thought or a feeling?
Turns into a feeling.
So we pattern interrupt by helping them to remove the feeling. And an emotional detox is a process that I use for that. It's a content-free way of saying, I'll use the term every negative feeling, image, thought, emotion, or sensation you've been holding on to in hypnosis, and I'll do it 3 or 4 times, and I'll do it 3 or 4 different ways. And I've already told them that today is the 10th of May 2025, so they're starting now to get permission to let go. And that first thing is about helping them to let go. And I do use 3 different levels of disassociation to help them to step back continuously. So if you're familiar with the Inception movie, it's a bit like that. A dream within a dream within a dream. So they're going further and further and further away from their logical into their emotional, which is helping them to release it. The second thing is that often there is somebody that they're angry with. Whatever it is that caused that feeling in their life. Often it's just a thing they are angry with. And I use anger release protocols to help them to get rid of that. And then one of the key ones is permission for the unconscious to heal. And I'm going to, so if we are holding on to trauma, or whatever we perceive as trauma, in an attempt to keep us safe so it doesn't reoccur, But the consequence of it is that our physical body is now not able to do what it was once doing before. So our health is being affected. Is that trauma actually serving its purpose? And is the unconscious mind doing its job? Because your health is far more important. It's a reframe, deep in hypnosis, that allows them to start letting go of even more. Because often it's a permission that they need to let go. They need that permission to let go of whatever that feeling is that they're holding on to, that feeling that's in their unconscious way is keeping them safe. All right? So it is surprisingly effective in how it works, because it is just a reframe, but it is at deep levels of hypnosis. And then the last part is about reconnecting. So it's about physical healing. It's about allowing their unconscious mind to begin the healing process. The first stage is creating the environment for healing. You've got to free the space where they're no longer producing the cortisol, no longer producing that adrenaline that's flowing through, that is weakening their immune system. So you're actually taking all of that stuff out in the best way that you can by releasing the anger, releasing the negative emotion, neutralizing it, and then reminding them that they have a superpower that they've had all their life. It's been protecting them from colds, flus, bruises, and everything else. It's called their immune system. And then strengthening the immune system. Okay? And there are a number of different ways, a number of different quantum ways that I will use to allow their body to heal. Okay? After that then is stress management and emotional maintenance, because life can cause them to re-trigger stress. Old environments can come back into play, old people can come back into their lives. And unfortunately, sometimes it can reoccur. But keeping that pressure cooker of their mind down allows for that to be kept to a minimum. Okay? So that's what I was just saying. The unconscious seeks safety. Trauma, once protected, is now causing harm. So let it go as a deeper active protection. Okay? Stress can re-trigger symptoms. Ongoing emotional maintenance is absolutely crucial. And healing is essential. It is not just recovery. Okay, why does it matter? There are more and more cases of FND. More and more diagnosis. You'll be hearing more and more people inquiring. And there's low awareness, and we're uniquely positioned. So somebody who wants to actually promote hypnotherapy, as a tool to help the general public, being able to provide solutions for FND, which more and more people will be affected by, shows the breadth of what we can do, and is actually able to help a section of the population that currently have no support, none whatsoever. It's not about fixing it. I'm going to demonstrate some of this now in a moment. If anybody wants to volunteer, I will do an emotional detox and just an emotional release part of it, if anyone hasn't experienced that before. It's not about fixing, it's about reconnecting. What we're doing is we're creating permission through space and belief to allow the client to heal, because they are the ones who do the healing. We are just the gateway. We give them the permission slip to heal, pure and full, pure and simple. Okay? Would anybody like to volunteer? And I can show you that technique now. You okay to come up? Cool. Hi.
Hi, Wendy.
Wendy, John.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Okay. Before, whoops, sorry, be in trouble. Does anyone have any questions on that? Or is that all fairly clear? I like to simplify things. I like to simplify things a lot. I'll just talk a little bit more because there's two things that I probably want to add. In terms of creating emotional safety, I use a terrible amount of metaphor. I really do. You know, there is at least one Liverpool fan in the room who's going to appreciate this metaphor. I don't know if there's any more. But Irish people are big English football fans. But the only thing about England we like, sorry Sheila, not quite, but you know what I mean. Cormac, you know exactly what I think. And I happen to be a Manchester United fan, and other people would be Liverpool fans. And about 3 years ago, the two teams played, and I watched it with my friend who is a Liverpool fan. And Liverpool won that game 7-0.
Okay.
You already know that there was two different reactions in that room. But we both saw the same game. It's how we looked at it. It's the glasses we wore. All right? So when a client hears that, again, it is just a little nudge towards, oh, well, maybe there's a possibility of looking at something different. Now, I'm never going to wear Liverpool glasses, ever. But maybe I'm not wearing such rosy United glasses anymore. You know, so it doesn't mean as much. But you know the point I'm trying to make here, right? And it gives them permission, and it's everyday language. I live in the countryside in Ireland. I'm literally surrounded by farms. And when I bought my house, and I'm telling them this story as they're sitting there, when I bought my house 3 years ago, it had been vacant for 2 years. Nature had full control of the house. I was an unwelcome visitor. There was all kinds of four-legged things running around the house, which were not that pleasant. And for the first month or two, it was a little uncomfortable, particularly for someone who came from a town and wasn't used to much of that. But between pest control and a cat, the issue got resolved. 18 months later, I was sitting at home and I heard this very loud scratching under the floor. And I thought, oh, Jesus, here we go again. And I happened to have a hurley, but no one else in the room other than Cormac's going to know what that is. So a piece of wood that I banged the floor with. And it was about 10 seconds later, it started again. And I thought, wow, this is brave as well as everything. Anyway, I'm not lifting floorboards at 10 o'clock at night. So I put out a trap. Came down the following morning, there was a mouse about that size in the trap. And there was nothing for another 18 months. Nothing. And I thought to myself, how did something so small make such a lot of noise? And then I actually realized the space under the floor, because it's the concrete and wood, you know, it's only about that, and then there's the beams, so there's only about that much. Something small in a small space makes a huge amount of noise. It appears an awful lot louder than it is. A lot like the emotions we hold when we were children. When they happened, they're so long ago now, but they seem an awful lot bigger than they are. And it starts to give the mind permission to re-look at it and not be afraid of it as much. That's just a story from my life. You can use something. I'm sitting surrounded by farm fields. All of you guys were going, where is he going with this? Right? So it is a metaphor. It's true metaphor actually, but it is a metaphor to give their minds permission to let go, to rethink, to reframe. Now I use most of that. The approach I use with F&D to a large degree is 90% the same that I'll use with adoption. It's the same I'll use with most traumas. What we're actually dealing with is just rechanging it slightly to suit a certain condition, to suit a certain framework. And it's just understanding what it is that goes on behind it. Okay? So who here is familiar with emotional detox? Yeah? There's loads who aren't, yeah? Okay. This is just permission. So do you have anything bothering you at the moment?
Yeah, different things.
Okay.
Can't tell you all. Not to pinpoint, but there are.
Yeah, you don't need to tell me.
No,
you don't
I
need to.
don't pinpoint, but there are.
There are loads of things,
yes.
okay. Think of about 2 or 3 things and think about how you feel about them. You don't tell me,
Okay.
right? And then we'll check in on those things in a little bit. Is that okay?
Yes, okay.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 levels of disassociation. If I can get the 3rd level of it done, I will. Okay? All we're doing here is the freedom to let go. Is that all right? So, are you ready to go into hypnosis?
Yes, okay.
Okay. Will you rub your hands like that? And just that. And just put your 2 fingers out like that. And just only imagine right now you have 2 magnets attached to your fingers and they're just pulling your 2 fingers together. And as they are pulling your 2 fingers together, all I want you to do is just see that hypnosis flow from your fingers into your wrist, into your elbow, into your shoulders, into the back of your neck, over the back of your head, into your eyes, and just drifting all the way down. All the way down, just deeper and deeper with every breath you take. And as you drift deeper and deeper, just realizing that hypnosis is not something I do to you, but something I do with you. Just allowing your mind now to relax every muscle, every nerve, every fiber. And as you relax every muscle, every nerve, every fiber, just begin to be aware of the feeling of the chair and the sounds that you hear around you. And begin to be aware of those internal sensations you feel in arms or legs or anywhere in your body. Or even those internal sounds like the beating of your heart or the sound of your breath. Or those thoughts and images that float up from your mind automatically. And just allow yourself to drop even deeper. In a moment I'll just lift your hand, just let it drop, and as it drops just go 10 times deeper, now all the way down. In a moment, Wendy, I'm going to count from 10 down to 1. When I get to number 1, I'm going to ask you to be in a place in your mind where you feel at peace with yourself and the world. A place that you may already know, but a place where you feel at peace. As I'm counting down from 10 to 1, I'm going to count from 1 to 10. As I count from 1 to 10, you'll just let go. Let go of all the stuff that your mind is ready to let go of. 10, just feel every muscle, nerve and fiber relax now. 1, any general worries, fears that you have before the 10th of May 2025 that you know you can't go back to, that you know are over, your mind can begin to let go now. 9, just every breath just taking you deeper and deeper. 2, any limiting beliefs that your mind has ever given you, that others have given you, or that you've interpreted from events that have happened in the past, your mind just lets go now. It starts to think about who gave them to you, where you got them from. Are they right? Can your mind let go? 8, even deeper still. 3, any specific causes in your life for those conditions that you were just thinking about? Any specific effects and causes? Your mind is beginning to re-look at it now. And maybe begin to look at it in a different way. If they're in the past, can you let go? 7, even deeper still. 4, all of that stuff that you've let go, being placed in helium balloons which are filled and tied now and ready to let go. 6, just even deeper still. 5, see all those balloons being released, just like you'd release balloons in the park on a summer's day. Just see them drift and float away. Every number up, your mind's going to drift off into the future. And see that you happy and healthy at the top of those 10 steps. 6, see that you, her shoulders back, her head up, she's smiling. 7, see her in perfect health. She's radiating joy. 8, see that twinkle in her eyes. She just appreciates life. 9, she's a magnetic pull from her now. And 10, just merge with her. Just right now, just merge with her. Just feel that feeling rotate through every part of your body. Feel that feeling of joy and happiness just radiate through you, and health just radiate through you right now. And as it does, somewhere in there is a source. In a moment I count to 3 and that source will just expand through you like a firework. 1, 2, 3. That health and that joy is just going to flow through every part of you now and become the reality for you. And your mind's going to look back to now and just let go of all of the things that it needed to achieve that state. Every number down will bring you down to that beautiful, peaceful place in your mind. And I say the word peace, I never say the word safe. I'll come back to that in a moment. 5, get a sense of that place now. 4, see it even clearer. 3, just imagine the sounds you'll hear when you get there. 2, the fragrances that you smell. And 1, just before you step in, look over your shoulder, see those balloons just drift and fade away. All that stuff that you've already let go of disappearing. And 0, just be there now. In that space, just feel your feet on the ground. The colors you'll see, just imagine it. The sounds you'll hear. And somewhere in that space, Wendy, there's a place for you to sit, lie, or stand and watch the world go by. But when you've found it, just gently nod your head. Brilliant. In that space, Wendy, all I want you to do is just imagine something, only imagine. A magnetic force of energy in that field around you that's perfectly attuned to any negative feeling, image, thought, emotion, or sensation you've been holding on to. Any negative feeling, image, thought, emotion, or sensation. In a moment, I'll click my fingers. When I do, that magnetic field will pull from you those negative feelings, images, thoughts, emotions, and sensations that you've been holding on to for the last few minutes, hours, days, weeks, all the way back. You may feel it come off your shoulders, out the top of your head, out your hands, your feet, your legs, your stomach, your throat, your chest, whatever way it needs to go. Just let it go. Now, any negative feeling, image, thought, emotion, or sensation, your mind is just letting go into that magnetic force of energy that's doubling in size, power, and intensity now. Pulling out the even deeper ones. Even deeper. You may feel things leave. You may see thoughts, feelings, images. They're just all disappearing into that magnetic field. Anything before the 10th of May 2025 that you cannot go back to. Your mind's just letting go now. In a moment, that magnetic force is going to double, and it's going to pull out the even deeper ones. Now, any anger, any pain, any hurt, any blame, any shame, any guilt, any sadness, any regret, any rejection, any frustration. Pulled out, just let it go. Sucked out, let it go. Dragged out. Just let it go. It's perfectly safe. Perfectly fine. Let that magnetic force double one more time. Now, pull out the even deeper ones. Now I'm about to do something different. All I want you to do is imagine. Imagine a beautiful energy above the top of your head. It is filled with every positive feeling, image, thought, emotion, or sensation you've ever experienced. Every positive feeling, image, thought, emotion, or sensation you've ever experienced. In a moment, it's going to fill you up like a cup, from the tips of your toes to the top of your head. It's going to push out from the inside the negatives. Any remaining negative feeling, image, thought, emotion, or sensation, pushed out from the inside, pulled out by that magnet. Just imagine it in your feet now. In your knees, your calves, your hips, your stomach, your lower back, into your chest, into your upper back, your throat, behind your chin, your mouth, your cheeks, your nose, your eyes, your ears. It's flowing down into your brain. Feel it in your brain. Feel it just resetting those neural pathways, just letting go. Just filling the neural pathways with every positive feeling, image, thought, emotion, or sensation you've ever experienced. And now just imagine it coming down your spine, down your nervous system, that feeling of safety and positivity flowing down your nervous system. That's it. Just really feel it flowing down your nervous system, all the way down. Every positive feeling, image, thought, emotion, or sensation you've ever experienced. All the love, the joy, the happiness, the peace, the health, the wealth, the calmness, confidence, success, and abundance, just flowing through you now, pushing out from the inside. And just imagining now that you, in that place, you fall into a sleep. In that sleep you dream. In that dream, I'm just going to ask you to imagine something. Imagine that you're up above the earth. You're looking down at the earth as if you're looking at it from space. You can see Europe, the whites of the North and South Pole, the greens of forests and fields that fill our earth, the blues of waters, part of the earth in sunshine, part of the earth covered by moon, and the lights that shine from those cities and those countries. Just imagine you can go back to the edge of space now. The edge of space. As you go through the edge of space, just see the stars, the sun, the moon. Notice all the other planets. Notice the Earth is the smallest planet of all. Notice that as you're up there, it's almost impossible to see Belgium from here. And it makes you realize that when you look at things from a distance, they're nowhere near as big as you thought. I want you to notice between you and the Earth now, there's this massive archery target. In the center of that archery target is the bullseye. In the center of that bullseye is all of the physical and emotional pain you've been holding on to. Every piece of useless and unnecessary physical and emotional pain that you've been holding on to. In a moment, you're just going to feel yourself like an arrow in a bow, pull back, stretch back like a piece of elastic in the hands of a master archer who's going to hit that sweet spot and burst it into 1,000,000 pieces. Forever gone. Just imagine it right now. Feel yourself pull back, stretch back like a piece of elastic. Pull back, stretch back. The further back you go, the quicker you go through this. All you're going to hear in a moment is shh, and you'll be through it. Hold it. 3, 2, 1, psh, all the way through it. Just drifting and free floating in space now. Light as a feather. Weightless, no gravity. And actually looking over your shoulder, seeing that archery target burst into 1,000,000 pieces and sucked up into a black hole in space. All that's left of you, weightless and free. And now, just imagine right ahead of you, Wendy, is this beautiful mist. It's filled with perfect health in every way. It's filled with safety and health. In a moment you're going to glide through it. Every cell, every atom, every neuron, your brain, your nervous system are going to absorb it. Every number, it's going to double. By the time you come out the other side of it, it's going to be 64 times deeper. Just imagine as you glide through that beautiful mist now. You're absorbing perfect health in every cell, every atom, every molecule. 2, twice as deep now. Twice as deep. Twice the depth. Perfect health just radiating into your nervous system, radiating into every cell in your body. 3, 4 times deeper. 4 times deeper, that feeling of safety and of health just radiating through you. 4, 8 times deeper. And 5, 16 times deeper. Perfect health radiating through every cell, reminding your immune system that it is your superpower, that you are safe, that from this moment your body and mind can begin to reconnect in the way. And in a moment you'll be out the other side. It'll be 32 times deeper. Now, 32 times deeper. You're changed at a cellular, neurological, psychological and physiological level. Every part of your body and mind now works to restore health and that feeling of love, joy, happiness, peace, health, wealth, calmness, confidence through you. And then you remember that you're actually in a dream. And you're back in that beautiful, peaceful place where it all began. In that space, that magnetic force of energy has just disappeared off into a black hole in space, and all that remains is you, in perfect health, filled with every positive feeling, image, thought, emotion, or sensation you've ever experienced. In a moment, you'll emerge in that place and you'll run up those 10 steps to the you that's at the top of those steps. She's just waiting for you. You see her shoulders are back, her head's up, she's radiating health and joy. See her up there now. 1 and 2 just fly up those steps to her. 3 and 4, you just want to be there. 5 and 6, that twinkle in her eye, her arms are outstretched. 7 and 8, you just can't wait to merge with her. 9 and 10, just be her. She's her. She's you, you're her. In a moment, I'll count from 1 to 5, and when I get to 5, you'll be all the way back in the room feeling absolutely fantastic. 1, coming back to this place that we call reality, bringing back with you a brand new reality. 2, in which you've just changed, you've let go, you've allowed yourself that feeling of feeling safe, of filling yourself with every positive feeling, image, thought, emotion, or sensation. And there's always 3 ways your unconscious mind will remind you of positive things that are going on in your life. 4, because it is all for you. You are the one doing the work. You deserve the rewards. That's your truth. That's your reality. At the next number, at the rate and speed at which you've absorbed all of these, when you're ready and only when you're ready, number 5, come on back and feel absolutely brand new. Okay.
Wow.
So that is full content free, letting go of loads and loads of stuff. Have you, the stuff that you were thinking about before we started, how do you feel about it now?
It's okay now.
Okay, so that's only kind of one part of this. There is anger release protocols for the deeper emotional stuff that people feel. I don't have enough time to show them here now. And then there is deeper quantum healing, but that model that I'm using can actually be used for anything. That mist could be confidence if that's what somebody needs. But it's the first phase of, it's something I do in every single session, by the way, because it gives the mind permission to let go. I don't want people to have to relive true trauma unnecessarily, true regression. I had enough of it in my own life. I don't think it's good for people to do that. It reinforces neural pathways. I'm not in favor of it. Only when Neuroplasticity teaches us that when we let the emotion go, the brain can rewire itself.
It's very gentle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's designed to be,
Yeah.
because you're dealing with people with severe trauma.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. Thank you very much.
So that's one part of it. That is the emotional detox, the continuous reinforcement of it's the 10th of May 2025, your mind can let go. It's been filled with metaphor in the pre-talk, and it's been filled with metaphor in there. And then the rewiring part, you can get into the whole quantum healing part of it that then takes place at a later stage. All right? I'm conscious now I have 2 minutes left, so does anyone have any questions before somebody sticks their head in the door and says stop? Yes?
You were mentioning in the middle that you're saying peaceful space, not...
Sorry, yes, that's the thing, yeah. A safe space for someone who suffers from trauma can be under the stairs. It's not necessarily a peaceful place. Sorry. A safe space might be where they're running away from somebody. That's why I say the word peaceful. And I continually say at peace with yourself and the world. Often people won't be able to find that. I hear that all the time. I don't know a safe space or a peaceful place. I can't think of one. Yet the mind will find it when we go there. They will create it, yeah. And that's why the other part of it is, I say, a place that you may already know or a place that you may want to go. It is a place of peace, because when you are dealing with people who do suffer from severe trauma, peaceful is, or safe is not always peaceful. It's an association thing, but that's what they've done in their brain. Okay? It is, yes, it is gentle. It's a free way of letting go of stuff without having to go through and relive old memories. Yes, it does happen. And I do it. I do it a couple of times a week, but I do it minimally. Only when I have to go back to release that emotion, yeah.
How do you deal with people that are spontaneously getting into a reviviscence?
Into which?
Reviving.
So they're having a seizure in the moment or something?
No, they're reliving a traumatic moment, so...
During a session?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
how you go around it if you prefer avoiding regression?
You can't always avoid regression. No, you can't always avoid it. What I usually use with that is two things. One is it's an anger release forgiveness protocol, right? And explaining that forgiveness is not for the person that did it, it's so that you're not carrying it, all right? But what I get them to do, and there's a physical way that they can do it when they're in the room with me, which is that I can get them to put their hand on mine, imagine that person or an image of that person right there, say everything, and I will often curse, by the way. So if that's all right, I'm about to do it now. Yeah. Say every fucking thing you want to say to that person, because you're getting that anger. Yeah. Press down. Okay. The other reason, if I do it online, or even sometimes depending on the person I'm dealing with, I'll just get them to make a fist. And just go, when they're ready to do it, just let it go. That's the first thing. And the second thing then is, the regression is to bring them to before it began, to bring them to when it was over, and to speed through it. Go back, speed through it. Ask them what decision they made. Ask them, are they willing to make a new decision in that moment, and then integrate that child back into their heart. I don't have time to show that here now, but the other person who always needs to be forgiven is themselves. So that's a huge part of that. And you know, it's a bit like what you did this morning, but the technique would be something simple of imagining. Actually, if you want to do this now, I'll guide you through it right now.
Would be like a fast phobia cure, just dissociating them from
no.
the scene without
self-forgiveness.
Yeah, forgive yourself, forgive the inner child for doing the things that she did when she was at that age, and it's not necessary anymore.
So first you take them out of the traumatic space.
You take them out, and then you bring them
with the forgiveness to themselves first of all.
Get them to know that that image is over. Take the emotion out of that. At the end of it all, close your eyes just for a moment, right? Anyone who wants to do this, do. Okay, just take 3 deep breaths and just allow yourself to go to a space, right? Just allow yourself 3, just to become comfortable. 2, just to drift. And 1, just to imagine you, the you that walked into this room at 2:30. Imagine you right in front of you right now. Just imagine you see that you. Really imagine it. And as you see that you, I just want you to say 2 things to that you. I want you to forgive that you for everything you think that you did wrong. That you who did them did not have hindsight. They did not have the benefit of hindsight. You do. So just forgive them for that. And thank them for everything that they had to go through so you don't. So you've taken the lesson and you don't have to go through it. And then all I want you to do is feel the love in your heart for you. Really feel that love in your heart. Allow that love to flow up into your eyes, into the eyes of that you who came in at 2:30, and down into their heart. Allow that love to be a magnet that pulls those 2 hearts together and brings you all the way back to you in the present moment. At peace with yourself and the world and everything that's happened until now. And when you're back, just allow your eyes to open and feel absolutely brand new. All right? That is a way of reconnecting back to you. Obviously, it's done in fairly deep hypnosis, but that affected a few people in the room, but that's okay. Okay. Thank you. It's 3:30. I think I've gone past my time and I'm going to be in trouble. Sorry. If anyone has any questions, I'm around all weekend, so.
Thank you very much.